welcome back to the Shea Show. So, you guys ready for our very first episode of Celebrity Tarot? Yeah? Well, this person I have had on my heart for a while to do a reading for, and tonight, without further ado, let me just tell you, yes, I got a refill during the break. And no, Matthew McConaughey will not be here in person tonight. This is a reading for him, not with him. So, before I started, just like I do with everybody who I do regular readings for, and most of those people I do in person, if you're just now new to the channel, you might find out if by watching some other stuff that I am a reader who started out for decades doing personal readings, and I've only recently started. I did it for a while, like 2017, 2018, but I'm also a filmmaker, so I do a lot of stuff, and I haven't had a lot of time to do this, but I'm being called back to do this for some reason, and so I'm going with that calling. And I know maybe that might help you. If you're feeling called to do something, you should probably do it, because we get called to those things for a reason, right? Okay, so I want to start out this reading with some of the channeled information. Now, I know a lot of you know that tarot doesn't make predictions, right? The people who are reading tarot make those predictions. Tarot can give you perspective. Tarot can give you the possibilities, right? It's very personal, but it cannot predict the future, because only you know what you do. No matter what is right or true, you cannot change what people do, okay? Because people do what they do. So, with that, let's get started. I wanted to go through a few things for Matthew here. So, Matthew, if you're paying attention, I channeled these messages. I got really 4 basic messages, and I'm just going to read them off to you in like whatever order. So, first of all, the messages were, and you know what, just an aside, the movie Frailty. Any person who could pull off the masterful performance that you did with Frailty, I just don't think any person that could do that could not believe that there is some sort of legitimacy to messages and information that could come to you from the other side, right? Okay, so, and as a spiritual person, you know that what's going on in the physical body is only what's going on in the physical body. Like, we are a spirit, right? We are an entity who's experiencing this physical body now. One of the things that I need you to realize, Matthew, in this physical manifestation that you're having right now, you need to realize the size of you, right? I mean, I know you have a following. I know you know that people, enjoy your movies, and that a lot of people look to you. I mean, look how many Green Lights books you've sold. Look how popular that is, right? So you need to realize the size of you, right? You could reach so many. You could teach so many. You could be the catalyst for reality for so many. I think people, or humanity right now, really needs a leader. Okay, so let me say that again, because whenever they have me write it down, they have me circle it. So a leader that will be honest with them, right? And will point out the lies and the bullshit and the deception that's being fed to them right now, and lead them to the truth. Does that make sense to you? Secondly, I think there's foundations and the number 3, right? So right now, I feel like you're growing in knowledge, right? From these experiences that you're having. I think recently so many people asking you about this gubernatorial run, right? I think that, your experience level from where you had been in running a state or a city or a all of Texas, the great Republic of Texas. I think that it's a lot like making a film, script to screen, right? You know, you have to start out with this basic idea, and then you learn more about it. You learn more about the characters, and then you start writing the script. You start scripting out the story, and then with that comes and you have to think of it like as an independent filmmaker, right? Like what's going on with you right now. It's like you're growing. You're learning these new steps and these new stages. Like, you know, well, I can't get this movie out because of this right now because I just have a script, or I just have this, I just have the treatment, or I just have the idea, and now you're moving it along to the next level, and then you're like, well, I'm just going to make this myself. Well, I'm going to need this and this and this, and you're kind of lining these things out, and you're learning them, and as it's going on, it's moving, and then you're learning these next things, and then you have to learn about oh my God, production, oh my God, payroll. Oh my God, there's this and this, and then you're learning all these things, right? Like an independent filmmaker kind of thing. And then now you're to the distribution stage, and you've learned to make this film. Now, the gubernatorial thing, it was kind of like going from being a filmmaker to being a film company, and there was this step, and there's so many other things that you have to deal with, like the politics of people. And I'm getting the ill-informed as opposed to the informed. Now, ill-informed, that's people who are under-informed, or people who are misinformed, or people who are whatever. And the decisions that they're making and the thoughts that they're having that are based on misinformation or ill-informed decisions, right? And there's so much of that now that you, as somebody who, if you think about how you have been manifesting everything that you've done so far in your life and in your career, and you get to this point where what you thought, what you learned, and everything that you know how to do is confronted by this wall of the ill-informed, right? And so I think you got a taste of that whenever you had that situation where you were in the interview, and you said that you were waiting on more information before you vaccinated your kids, right? And you see how the liar side of what's happening in the country right now, gosh, in the world, right? You see how the liar side, they blew it up and lost their fucking mind, right? They were Matthew McConaughey is anti-vaccine, he is anti-blah, blah, blah, he is anti-everything, and yada, yada, and they lost their shit. And you were like, oh my God. And it was this moment, right? And you had to come to the realization that there's so much more involved in running for an office like the governor of the state of Texas, that there's going to be so much American interference, right? And when I say American, I mean American media, American politics, American donors, whatever. You see how the day that Beto said he was gonna, Beto or whatever they call him nowadays, when he said he was gonna run, immediately there's millions of dollars from America flowing in, right? How's that make you feel? I'm a Texan. I'm the same age as you, okay? Matthew, things are kind of messed up right now. I think you know that. And I think that there's a way that you can move things forward. But I think first and foremost, because I think you're going to be an amazing person for our state, for our generation, okay, for humanity. Let me take it to that level. I'm not trying to give you a Messiah complex or anything like that. That's not what I mean. But I think you know that. 3. There's so many things with 3 that are involved with you right now. And I want you to think about it like this. President, governor, mayor, right? Where could you do the most good right now? You're in Austin every day. You see it. You know what's going on. You know what's happening. You're on the campus nearly every day, right? You're in the city. You're in the heart of it. You know what's going on in Austin, right? And you know that's like it's like a staple. For Texas, it's our capital, right? And you can see the utter disarray. I mean, what is it, like 80-something% or 80-something? Wait, if I remember correctly, I just read it. The crime rate is up crazy. And there's been like, instead of like 4 or 5 maybe murders in Austin in a year, because it's such a big city, you know. And then now this year there's like 84 murders or whatever so far this year since like March, right? There's craziness going on. And it's not just the crime. It's the way they're dealing with the budget and all those other things, right? You can see that. You can balance your budget. You're a dad, right? You have a business. You're the business. You know what I'm saying? Just whenever it comes to you, you understand how budgets have to be made. You understand how certain things are important, like infrastructure and crime and those kinds of things. You understand that. You don't want to have to deal with it on a level that's like Texas size yet. You start off with Austin size. But think about it. There's no way you wouldn't win if you ran for mayor of Austin. They wouldn't even need to count the votes. And with that, you would be able to not only help Texas like so much, but you would also be able to make a difference in the city to the lives of the people who you are around every freaking day. Think of the good that you could do on that level first, right? And then once you accomplish that and you conquer that, then start thinking about moving up maybe to governor if you haven't decided that politics is just too damn stupid and you don't want to be involved in them and you could do other things in your life, right? Like helping to form what's going to be the new version of Hollywood aside from that crazy shit that's going on in California. It's going to be in Texas. Everybody knows that. It's been headed this way for years. Shit, the sucking sound that Ross Perot talked about from the NAFTA thing. Remember that? You're old enough. That was like the first year me and you were old enough to vote, right? You remember that shit. Okay, so remember how he was like, there's going to be this horrible sucking sound as all the jobs get sucked away, right? Okay, so California is experiencing that, right? And everybody from the industry is moving here. It's a right to work state. You can do whatever you need to do without having to fight with the unions and the other crap. And you can make it, there's no mask mandates. There's no craziness going on here. The taxes are low. This is where everybody's coming, right? Right? You could be a major formative part of that. I think you already are. But, yeah, so think about the mayor thing, okay? Before you can do any of that, I'm getting something here about balance. I got this, and I wrote this down, and I even erased some of it and wrote it back. It's like, you are your kingdom. Your family is your throne. Your rule is your lifetime. And your time is your legacy. Now, let me say that again so you don't have to rewind it. And this applies to everybody, not just Matthew. Everybody here, right? You are your kingdom. You rule it. That's you. Everything that happens to you is a decision that you made. If something happens to you and it wasn't a decision that you made, it's a crime. Report it to the police. Everything else that happens to you, right, is your decision. Everything else that you do, you made. Everything that you don't do, you decided not to do. You know the Rush song? If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. Right? It's true. It's 100% true. Your family is your throne. That's your seat, man. That's where everything comes from. That's your anchor. You have to have balance with your family in your life. And if you don't have your family in your life, and I mean your immediate family, I ain't talking about your cousin twice removed who lives in another state, right? Your family is your throne. Your rule is your lifetime. You have a lifetime to make all the rules for you. You have a lifetime, right? To make the changes and to affect the things around you and the world around you and the people around you. Your rule, your time, the time when you can make a difference, right? That's in your lifetime. For some people, it happens after their lifetime. I mean, there's some amazing things. I mean, like, look, some shit that George Carlin said is still coming true. Robin Williams, right? Sam Kinison, yeah. Right? Okay, so some of the things that these people said are still coming true. They're still seeing it. Right? But their lifetime is over. So they have no way to enforce it. There's no rule. Your life, your lifetime is your rule. And I think the most important part, for some reason, it came out really darker here whenever I wrote this down. I had erased and written something and I wrote it back. Your time is your legacy. Think about it. What's the legacy you leave to your kids? The time that you spend with them. The things that they're going to remember. I mean, sure, it could be some money or some property, whatever. But without those times and those memories and those lessons taught and those moments, man, those fucking moments, that's your legacy. That's what they pass on. You know, whenever you tell stories that your mama or your papa told you, whenever you tell stories that your great-grandparents, your great-great-grandparents, I remember my great-granny Beaver telling me stories and teaching me stuff about herbs and stuff when I was a little bitty kid, right? And before that, you know, it's like there are so many things in life that you can share with people, right? That can better them and enrich their journey, which enriches you. It's like a cycle, right? But your time is your legacy. Now, this last part that I got, a Texas legend, was the first thing that I got. And I sat there and I thought about it for a while. And for some reason, I kept thinking about that lady who survived the Titanic. And, you know, I get this Titanic thing all the time when I talk about America. And so maybe, and what's going on politically, right? So what I wrote down here was, you can't help the people on the Titanic by standing on the deck, talking and or contemplating the failure of the ship's designer. You know, man, a lifeboat. I see people all the time like Ted Cruz and all these people, and they're up there in America arguing about tweets that people that Joe Biden nominated for whatever made. And the people are up there not admitting that, they won't even admit that they wrote the tweet, and they're showing the tweet. No, this is the tweet. You didn't say that. Say that you said that. Oh, well, thank you for the question, Mr. Cruz. I think it, you know, and you see that going on, and you're thinking to yourself, what better things could that time have been spent on here in Texas, where the people who you were elected to, Ted, you were elected by the people of Texas to represent and do what's best for the people of Texas, And here you are arguing up there whenever we have border issues, we have fentanyl issues, we have gang issues, we've got murder rate issues, we've got crime issues, we've got all these other things that are happening, and yet he's up there arguing about a tweet. Okay? Don't be one of those people. Don't come with a whole bunch of pointing out the problems and pointing out the negative things, and then, at the end, not have a solution. Come with solutions, right? Okay, so let's get started with my 29-year-old tarot cards. Actually, they're not 29, they're 28. They're 28 next week. I've been reading these cards for that long. Okay, let's see what we got here. So there's something in your life right now where you've kind of made a judgment to resurrect something that doesn't have anything to do with money. It has something to do with movement, right? Let's see here. You've recently said no, or you're about to say no to an offer that's coming from somewhere. And it looks like something that you had originally thought you were going to do, or maybe done a lot of work on, but then not, in the end, taken the offer. Say a lot. I'm saying a lot, right? Tower moment. So there's something that you've been worried about, or something that you've been stressing about. It has to do with communication's not passing back and forth, and it could be with somebody who's the opposite sex of you. I don't get that it has anything to do with romance. You know what this looks like to me, before we start beating them down with the babies here and getting some clarification. What it looks like to me here is that you're moving away from, you want to move away from something that either was a lot of money or wasn't making a lot of money, because whenever this King of Pentacles is upside down. So it feels like you want to move away from something that either isn't making money, or that you don't care about how much money it makes. And then there's movement towards the rebirth of something. Now, this rebirth of something could be more active career, maybe more active, maybe so resurrecting something. It could be a remake or a reworking, or starting something again, like something that you did before, sequel-ish. But this is definitely, this card, the Judgment card, is definitely about resurrecting something, right? So moving away from something that had to do with money or lack of money, and into that. Now, here's something that's being offered to you. Maybe this could have something to do with that. There's something that you're being offered that you just haven't taken, or you're not wanting to take. See how he's got his arms crossed, and there's this like offer coming in, and he's not taking it. He's got these other three here. And remember, we talked about 3 being your number. So there could be 3 things that you've done, or 3 things that you've completed, or that you want to work on, and this new thing isn't what you want to do. It's almost like someone's like, you hadn't made enough money off of this lately. You should go forward and make a remake of, or a sequel to whatever show. And then they make you the offer, and you're like, no, I got 3 things already that I'm doing that are on my slate, right? And then there's this Tower card. So the Tower comes in, and it's like, it feels like you're really worried that not taking this or not doing this is going to cause some serious disruption. So you're worried about not being able to communicate it properly. But somebody who's going to come in who has like a really open-mindedness, somebody who's willing to somebody who's really like adventurous or willing to take risks or invest, right? And they're telling you don't do something that you've already done in the past. They want you to do something new, right? And that's where the money's at. That's where the happiness is at. That's where the success is at. I see that for sure. Can we get some clarification? Get some clarification for Matthew. Wow, that was quick. So judgment again. Not. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so what you're worried about, right? You could get good advice from somebody. I want to say like a lawyer or an agent or somebody. They're offering you good advice, and they're really conservative about it, right? And they're like, it's not going to be what you want. It's not going to be. It's really scattered. There's no control over it. It's weird. I keep hitting this thing. I'm sorry. And then they're like, you don't want to have to handle, or they don't want to handle, like when you see this card, I don't know how clear that is. When you see this card and he's in the upside down position, like let's look at the right side up position. See, like he's handling all these things, right? And what he really wants is those two swords in the ground, right? But his hands are all like, can I get this to be clear? His hands are all like holding the sharp ends of the sword. He's handling so many things that he can't handle. He can't get the two things that he really wants. So he's looking back at that two. You know, like how you've got this two here and it's in the upside down position, right? And that means like not good communication flowing back and forth, and not making good decisions together. So this is the same thing, because it was in the upside down position. That's why I turned it around so you could see it. Because it's kind of like telling you, don't do that. You know, kind of like these two together. Like these two cups here are kind of representing the two swords that are in the ground, right? Okay, let's see. Any more clarification for this? Any more? Wow, that's way too many freaking cards. Let's turn these around. Do you have any more clarification? Why does it keep wanting to drop a shit ton of cards right there? This is the same one. Oh, this is what you've been worried about. Okay, so this guy, the king of pentacles, right? So you see him, right? He's all about money and banking and stuff like that. When he's in the upside down position, it means that there could be a bad decision to be made about money, or that you're choosing to move away from being so monetarily inclined, right? And again, we're getting this card, and it's in the upright, just like it is here, right? I think that might be what's worrying you about making that correct decision. That's just too many cards. I'm not going to try and sort through those. Give me some clarity. Give me some clarity for Matthew. Give me some clarity for Matthew. I think that's it, no? See it try and spit out that big chunk of cards again? What is this about? What is this big chunk of cards about? Give me some clarity for Matthew. Give me some clarity for Matthew. There it is. Okay. Well, that's pretty clear. I mean, it's telling you not to worry about not taking this offer, and you think that it's going to bring this tower moment, this craziness, you know, and you know, basically what this tower card means here. It's like the tower card happens whenever you have the opportunity over and over again to do something and you don't do it. So kind of like God comes in and your tower's like, here, let me just open up the crown and just pow, blast the shit out of all these people in here. And it just like kicks everybody out of the situation. It really makes the change that you need to change. It's like, oh, well, you know, if you're not going to change, or if you're not going to make this decision, or if you're not going to do this, then, you know, what was it that Papa said? Choice made. Choice made. You know, like when you don't make the decision, it makes itself kind of thing. right? I think that whatever happens from this moment, right, whenever you make this decision, and whatever happens, if there's a tower moment because you made the decision, or if there's a tower moment because you didn't make the decision, it's going to put you in on the right path. Oh, here. See? Okay, so this is a super clear answer. Okay, so we talked about this upside down. We talked about this guy, right? The upside down King of Pentacles. So that's what just popped out. It's talking about that's what you were worried about. And this just popped out on top of this card, which is also your outcome card, which was reconfirmed here. Okay, so let me just do this. That's pretty clear, right? And what you're worried about here, that's pretty clear, right? Right? And then here again, these are all confirmations over and over again of what I've been telling you. So, and you watch the cards flop out. I can't make them do that. I think whenever you make this decision, whatever this is, if this is either to move away from something that's, sorry, I needed some Dos Equis for a minute. If you choose to move away from this, whether it's to leave behind or to leave away from, let's get some clarification on this. Can we get some clarification on this upside down King of Pentacles? What does it mean? What does it mean? Oh, I saw the Four of Wands in there. It means to not, that's not communicating back and focusing more on home. Let's see. Upside down Star card. Okay. That means that you don't know everything about it. Okay, so I'm guessing here what's going to happen is you're going to get some information about something that has to do with money or a project, and you're going to have to make a decision based on that. It's either going to be that the project that you're working on is going to need funding, or isn't going to have the funding, or isn't going to be making the funding in the beginning, right? It will eventually. That's what this is. But it also could be not giving a shit. Being at a place in your life where you don't really give a shit in the beginning how much it makes. You're looking more at a long-term thing and more about happiness. Okay, that's being watched right there. Being looked at about this. So someone's waiting for you to make this decision. I'm not saying they're stalking you, but yeah, sort of a little. They're waiting on this decision, or they're waiting to give you this offer because they don't know what your decision's going to be. And maybe that's them that's worried, but it might be both. Any more information from Matthew? Any more information from Matthew? Any more? Anything else? One more time. Oh, that was interesting right at the end there. What are these guys? Oh, okay. So, could be a woman because that's giving you this offer. A female person. This is not romantic. But this is definitely an offer coming in that changes things. It's really transitory for you. It's changing. It's going to be something different. It's going to be something that seems like one thing to everyone else, but it's like you see something in it. Because this card right here means the only blockage is kind of like in your mind, right? Like, if you look at her, it looks like she's like wrapped up and tied up with like toilet paper, right? Those, she's not held in. She's not in any kind of cell. all of those swords are stuck in the ground behind her. She's got flowing water through her feet, right? So that means that she could go with the flow at any moment. She could lift up her arms, break the little toilet papers, take off the blindfold, grab up one of those swords and go kick somebody's ass and go on about her journey. But she's in her head about it. And right now, I think, or with what's come, either what's possible that could be coming right now, or what is already here, is something that you're in your head about. You need to go with your gut on this, because this is your outcome, right? And this upside down star, it's like, politically, don't be the governor, be the mayor. If it's about the movie industry, then I would say that it means maybe take a director's role as opposed to the leading actor. If this is talking about home and your what's going on in your home life, I would say that someone else in your family, you or your children, because I keep getting this weird image, and I don't know what it is, but you know, there's an actor that's also from Texas here. His name's Jensen Ackles. And he lives out here near us too, out here in the hill country. And for some reason, I'm seeing him in like a backyard on a patio with you. Who knows what that means? But think about it, okay? Anything else? That was weird. Huh. The upside down Queen of Cups. It's definitely not, this is definitely not a love reading. Anything else? I think this is going to come your way. You don't have a choice. It's coming your way, and it's something that it's like it's so powerful. It's something that's going to sweep you up so much you're not going to really have a chance to say no. You might be worried about it, but I don't think you should. This is your outcome. Nobody gets this for an outcome. Nobody gets it's like, damn it, Matthew, look at this shit. Like, look at all of your cards here that are the same cards over and over. You know, this is a great reading. It's super clear. Super clear. And I guess my thoughts for the day at the end of the reading for you, Matthew, or for cross watchers, you guys that are watching because you love Matthew. I think you're on the right path. You think that you're growing exponentially. And, man, don't let anything in that taints your vibe. Guard yourself, right? This is the future, right? Stop the worrying, bro. Stop it. This is the future. Let me just turn these over this way. Double sun shines. Double sun shines. Okay. Well, I think that's it. I hope you guys really enjoyed the reading. Thank you for tuning in to the very first episode of Celebrity Tarot. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope we all learned something. I hope we can all move forward from it. You guys have a blessed day. I love you. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.